into the last lesson of our interest unit and related to compound interest. You're going to be able to calculate compound interest today using the formula. This is the fun formula. I love it. How you say this formula is B equals P times 1 plus R to the n. B equals P times 1 plus R to the n. So what you need to know is what all these variables represent. B is balance. That's what B is. Your balance is equal to P times 1 plus R to the n. The P is your initial amount. It's your principal. I'm going to write in quotations initial. Your initial amount. Your initial investment, the initial amount that you have borrowed. It's whatever you start with. R is equal to your interest rate, but it's different, isn't it, with compounds? So R is equal to your interest rate divided by your compounds. Now we practiced that. An interest rate is an annual rate. So you have to divide the annual rate by how many times you're being compounded a year. And n is actually equal to your time. But time isn't just years, it's your compounds times your years. And that's another thing we practiced just before this lesson. So rate is equal, R is equal to your annual rate divided by how many compounds a year. And n is equal to your number of compounds times however many years the investment was. Okay? All right. The first thing that I do is turn R to a decimal. For instance, 4.5%, I would turn into 0.045. Don't leave it as a percent. You must change it to a decimal. Second thing I do, I plug it all in to my calculator. It's my best friend for this lesson. The third thing I do, I evaluate inside parentheses. I raise it to the power of n. And then I'm going to times it by its principal. Now let me state that. You're going to go 1 plus r to the n. Does everybody know how to get to a power on their calculator? My calculator has this little button. That's my power button. So I'm going to say 1 plus r to the whatever n is, and then I hit equals. Then I times it by the principal. For example, okay, so I'm just going to write this. B equals P times 1 plus R to the n. Okay, so the first thing I need to know is what my R is and what my N is. I got a compound annual. When it's compound annual, they stay the same. So my interest rate is 4% a year. I'm only compounding once a year, so it's going to stay the same. So R equals 4%. My T is equal to my compounds, or no, my N. My compounds times my year, well, my compound is once a year, times the 6 years is 6. Now I just plug it all in. So B is equal to my principal, which was $13,000 or 13,000, times 1 plus my R in decimal to the N, which is 6. I don't ever write 1 plus 0.04. I already know you just put the 1 in front. So this is how I start out personally. That's how I start out. Because if you're adding 1 plus a decimal, the 1's just going to go right in front. So in my calculator, I'm going 1.04, to the button, this button. Some of you might have y to the x button, I don't know. And then I'm writing 6, and I'm hitting equals. Now I times that by 13,000. And that is 16,449.15, rounded. And that's my balance. Okay, this one I don't like that it's compounded annually because your homework annual is more, I've included more semi and quarterly for you guys. So I want you to write semi-annually in front of it. So we can change our rate a little bit and our n. So first thing I do is figure out my R. My R, according to up here, it says R is equal to your interest rate divided by your compounds. Your interest rate divided by the compound. So my interest rate is 9 divided by, what does semi mean? Be with me here, class. Which is 4.5%. Each compound. My time is equal to your compounds times your years. So my time is equal to my compounds is 2 times my year is 4. There's going to be 8 compounds. Now we're going to plug it all in. Let me move this. Okay, so I just keep in mind my formula. Okay, and plug in what I know. Principal, 25,000. One plus R is the 4.5%. So 1.045. To the n is 8. Okay, so now in my calculator I'm writing 1.045 to the 8th power, and I'm hitting the equal sign. I keep that stored in my calculator, and then I just times that by 25,000, and I get 35,522.52, rounded. That's it. Okay, I forgot, I punched it in wrong, or I typed it out wrong. It should be 35,552.52. That's what it should be.